Okay, so your conscious mind is your management participation in your immediate moment-to-moment reality that is interacting at all times with your subconscious and your unconscious. Subconscious is your personality mind. That means all the influences that formed you as a being, your culture, your language, your family, all the people you've known, your education, all the things you are interacting with in some way on a day-to-day basis. Your unconscious mind is the world system. That means the greater reality that is managing the interaction of everyone's existence. Because of the way the greater reality exists, your conscious mind is subject to your subconscious, and your subconscious is subject to your unconscious. So whenever you are interacting within the reality at a level which will disturb the unconscious mind, it will send you a message of fear. That was, for instance, all programmed into the variations of religion as an example. The religion point that was utilized was, for instance, the crucifixion and God as similar or equal to the unconscious mind, which is the world system, so that you see the world system as something too big to change, and whenever you take it on, it will give you a fear message that you are too small to do anything about it, and therefore you will not do anything about it. In your reality, in terms of your subconscious, that will be changing according to your particular points of, call it evolution. You decide that you had enough of your life. You're going to, for instance, stop your relationships, and you're going to change your world, you change your life, you're going to go in a new relationship. Then your subconscious relationships will be realigned, and some people will remain in your life, some will change. You will change your behavior, you'll suddenly become a more open person or a more secluded person, or you'll become more party-like, or whatever point you decide you now want to experience more, and you will change your immediate environment with which you are going to interact with your conscious mind, and then you call that your choice that you've exercised and that you're using your free will, and you're now willing yourself to adjust your reality. In that case, you, for instance, will never adjust your unconscious mind, because your unconscious mind is your accepted world reality, but you'll adjust your subconscious mind. The structural resonance alignment is to get your conscious mind, your unconscious and your subconscious mind aligned to a point where you can see that you have sufficient will, power and ability to actually change the unconscious mind, which is the world system, into something that can support everyone equally, so that it is no longer a system of fear as it is currently existing as, which means the identification of all unconscious systems, which is deliberately utilized to limit you within a state of fear to not take on the greater reality, therefore accepting all kinds of forms of abuse, from starvation to crime, to abuse, to war, to pornography, to child rape, to hijacking, to every possible crime that exists at the world level. You must understand that obviously that there are beings in reality, that is humans, that are placing themselves, or were placed specifically dependent on a particular situation, at points where they're managing either your subconscious reality or your unconscious reality. From their perspective, they're entering virtually like a system, the system, and they act and one way as a person, which is with a conscious mind. At another level, they act as a system, as somebody managing either a smaller reality or a greater reality, and they make the decisions accordingly. Obviously, from their perspective, they have exactly the same fears you have in terms of the greater reality, and therefore they make sure that the greater reality, the rules are imposed to keep everyone controlled within the world system. They don't even understand completely exactly what it is they're doing, because all of this is happening at a level of resonance that they can't see anyway. They're simply just interacting within their belief system of how it operates and how it should operate, and they do that from their perspective of fear and their perspective of belief, and belief is always based on fear. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
So that's simplistically the conscious, unconscious and subconscious, and how it relates to reality and how one interacts with it. And then within structural resonance alignment, we're now slowly taking all of those points and we're bringing it all together so that one eventually handles both the subconscious and the unconscious in a conscious way. That means in full awareness, that it is no longer consciousness. Consciousness in itself is the manifestation of the unconscious mind as a system that operates by itself. The attempt to, for instance, change that by just inserting love into it is, in its very essence, if one look at the simple mathematics of it, impossible, and will cause much more harm to many more beings, because the system in itself is not adjusted. It's simply becoming taken to another level of blindness, and where one subjugate and limit yourself to a point where you accept the world system as it is, and you wait for a better world or a better system after death. You do, in fact, then nothing about changing that which you have accepted as the reason for your fear. And in spite of presenting love to everything, you are still in fear, and you are just refusing to see it, because you're unwilling to take the responsibility or the risk, as you perceive it, to actually change what you are seeing as happening, because you see yourself as too small to have any effect. Now, obviously, whenever a being is presenting themselves as too small to have any effect, and they also present themselves without the common sense to see what is really going on within the conscious, subconscious and the unconscious, or even attempt to see what is going on from Destiny's perspective, they are irrelevant, and they are immediately moved out of process to be recycled. If they in the future at some stage do realize, it's very simplistic, they automatically are back in the process, with a few points where they have to prove their self-honesty. But I mean, their self-honesty is proven in terms of their action they take. And that's in essence the simplicity of how it operates. Now, what's fascinating, obviously, is that within the unconscious, the subconscious and the conscious, the being currently exists only as observer, therefore they only participate in what they observe, and therefore nothing they do is actually ever real. Yet they're trapped in that illusion, and it just perpetuates through the participation in the illusion. Yet it is real and experience because you make it real through your participation. Yet the moment you stop your participation within that illusion, the illusion drops. This has been explained in many different ways, yet beings will not give up their participation in the illusion. When Jesus said it, Lao Tzu, Osho, you name it, they all said, stop, drop the illusion. But explaining exactly how that would operate has been a very difficult thing, yet look at the simplicity of it. You are participating in your observation, and therefore you make your observation real, which is the illusion. Then you continue to participate in the illusion, and therefore it seems to be a real experience, while it's in fact not real. If you would stop and dare yourself to look at what you've been doing, and also look at those around you, what they're doing, you'll notice the illusion with great ease. Now, ego is where one take the observation, base your design of yourself as conscious, as the conscious mind, as consciousness, on that observation, and you defend it as real because you fear to lose what you are participating in, because your observation, you'll always make the rules to fit you, to make you the winner. So therefore it is a principle of competition. In your observation, you are always observing things from the point where you will win and you are right. Therefore all of that is your ego, and then you participate in that, and therefore your experience seems to be real. And you believe the moment somebody walks away from you and refuses to participate in your observation that you have won, which is not true. You didn't. They've just seen through you and told you to fuck off. But you can't even see that because you're an illusion. So humanity exists as illusionists, seeing who can deceive the other more effectively. That's why we have a total corrupt society. And everybody is participating in it, and they use fascinating ways, especially if you look at consumerism. You'll see where it manifests best is in love. And you look at sex, the word love. Look at the religion, the word love. Love, love, love. Love is the ultimate deception, because it is an observation which is then sold. That means it's like a form of possession where you get somebody to sell their soul to you, and then they become your sole reason for living, which you call love, because you have complete possession over them and you can suck their energy drive for the rest of your life. You call it marriage. It's nightmarish. It's the greatest nightmare that exists. And then you get children to make sure the nightmare continue for the rest of your life. Such a wonderful thing, love. A beautiful poison that slowly drips and infatuates and releases an energetic toxin that blinds one for anything that is real. And all you look for then is what you want to observe, which will confirm to you that love is real, and that you're trapped in your illusion because you're only seeing what you want to, and you're creating what you want to see, and therefore you're in this infinite time loop where you only see what you want to see, and you're creating it at the same time. Isn't it wonderful to be so powerful?
Who's gonna stop you? Stop you? Who's gonna